Is this, though. Detroit's very unique. The Patriots could do this at their prime, is that they can run with power, they can do trick plays, they can be cute. It's very rare. Usually, because of a salary cap, you got a hole. If you do the power game, you're not cute. You know, Baltimore for years didn't have great receivers, Mark Andrews, but they could do the power game, but they weren't going to beat you down. I watch this team, and I'm like, they're a little like a younger version of the Niners. They got personnel. They kind of do everything.
Yeah, I mean, that was fun to watch, right? Detroit's offense.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, and listen, Detroit, if you've been following the NFL for a long time, Detroit's been picked on. They've been the joke, for many years. Like, they've been like the team that no one counts on. They've been bullied a little bit,
yeah.
Right? And, when you play in the NFL, it's very common when you go out and you're leaving the locker room, pep talk or whatever, the coach or a guy on the team says, we're going to go out and we're going to hit them in the mouth in their house, but it's just talk.
Right.
When Detroit says it, it feels different. When Dan Campbell says it, it feels different. There's something about this team that's like fed up. And I worked with Rex Ryan for a long time. And, I remember Rex like really believing in Dan Campbell and really believing in this Detroit team. And he would talk about the bully. And he's like, you just watch. One of these days, Detroit's going to say enough. And they're going to go into like the bully's house. And like in my mind, I'm picturing like, George McFly and Biff, get your damn hands off her, Biff, and then you knock them out. Like you hit them in the mouth at their place on prime time. Like this is the Dallas Cowboys. Who better to do it against? And that's what they did. And everything was different after that. Everything. And that's how I feel about this Detroit team. Like they sent a message. They lost their best player. They did whatever they wanted to do in the passing game, perfect passer rating. They did whatever they wanted to do in the running game. They're trying to throw touchdowns to offensive linemen. They're throwing hook and laterals to offensive linemen. Like they sent a message. And Ben Johnson, he could have left last year and been a head coach.
Right.
He said, no, there's something special brewing here. I'm staying. Maybe I'm not ready to be a head coach. This is what I'm meant to do. This is what I love to do. So I think they got something special. Now, they're going to hit adversity because they lost, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah.
But the trade deadline hasn't happened.
That's right.
There's players all around the league on bad teams, like, I don't want to name names, but like a Max Crosby or like somebody like that.
That's right.
That would fit nicely.
Son Reddick.
And they're saying, man, get me to Detroit. There's something special about Detroit. I want to be on a team like that. That's how I play the game, and I want to be on that team.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? Detroit Lions have become a destination where players want to play there. That game was awesome. It was tough, obviously, losing Aiden, which it honestly even makes me uncomfortable to talk about because it was like really, really sad. And upsetting to see. You could see everyone was upset on both teams, and then you just have to kind of continue to play the game. So I'll leave that to the side. Just wanted to like get that out there. That was obviously really, really hard. But I said this. I said that I think the Detroit Lions want revenge versus the Dallas Cowboys. That they are going to come out, and they are going to come out big. That they were furious about how it happened last season, right, against Dallas. They feel that win was robbed from them, and that they were going to come out, and they were going to come out huge. And they did. They were so dominant. And I don't want to hear about some of the injuries for Dallas, because that can be part of it. But let's be real here. Some of the things that they were doing, right, like getting to the line and calling hike before Dallas was ever even set up, burning digs, like that had nothing to do with any of the injuries. That was just because the Detroit Lions are a dominant team, right? They arguably have the best punch in the NFL right now, right? They have the ability to just dismantle you offensively. They're just so physical, so fast, so innovative with Ben Johnson. This is what I keep saying. Their team is exactly Ben Johnson and Dan Quinn, right? It's the brains and the physicality and the toughness, the preparedness, the attention to detail, right? Ben Johnson points out all the little details that they need to work on, and Dan Campbell is like, we're going to work on this every single day till we get it right? Like, it's that level of intensity that makes them a two-headed monster, Dan Quinn and Ben Johnson. I mean, it's just no one is better prepared than the Detroit Lions, which is why it was so hard to see them versus the Bucks, versus even the Cardinals to a degree and the Rams. It was like, this isn't Lions football that I know them to be. And I made videos saying that, and a lot of Lions fans got angry. Honestly, they were like, "Oh, blah blah blah, you're nitpicking and all stuff like that." And I was like, "No, I'm not. My expectations for this team is really high, and a game like this is why." Right? This is why. And it's not to say you're going to blow out every single game and the only way how you win or look good is by doing this. That's not the point either. But this was just a flawless game. Flawless game. Offensively and defensively. I mean, they made Dak uncomfortable from the jump. He was rushed. He was throwing bad passes. I mean, like, he felt the pressure right away. And like Tom Brady kept saying that that the offense for the Lions has been so dominant that it totally turned the Dallas Cowboys into this one-dimensional team. They just couldn't do anything. And it was just awesome. I mean, the run game, opening drive, I mean, it's just beast mode. I mean, it's easy for Montgomery. It's just easy. Everything was just felt so easy. Like, it was just reminiscent of like a cartoon where like a grown adult is playing with a bunch of kids and just barreling through people. I mean, like, it was just easy, honestly. And then even like an interception, right? By Branch, in the red zone. It was like he read where Dak wanted to go, right? He abandoned a guy to go for the interception. Like, that was his read. It wasn't just like a bad throw. Because if you just see that and you don't really look closely, you're just like, oh, Dak just had a bad throw, right? And then even Tom Brady was like, Dak just had no idea that that's what Branch was about to do, right? And that's all on him. It's just awesome. I mean, I also love, right, Williams has an awful drop, right? Just a really bad drop. And it was funny because also Tom Brady's there, and Tom Brady's notoriously like, you make a bad drop, like, I may not go back to you for the rest of the game. And you see Goff immediately go right back to him. Immediately. And you know he wanted to get right back to him. That's leadership, right? That's family building. That's culture. That is who you are and what you're building. The Lions are an actual family, and you can see that, right? It's not just what can you do for me, it's what can we do for each other. And it's just, to me, it just jumps off the screen. Honestly, and again, I am more conservative, and even Tom Brady was like, hey, what are you doing? All of the trick plays I do love. They're awesome, they're exciting, but it was also like, why are you doing that right now? Hold it back. And that's why Tom himself was like, man, like, you're really like unloading everything, like, don't you want to hold some of that back? And I told you, they wanted it, man. They just wanted to embarrass the Cowboys. They wanted to say, you are not on our level. You were not on our level last year. You haven't been on our level, and it's not even close. Not even close. You've never been as good as us, ever. Okay? It was with Dak Prescott or Tony Romo. And because, like, I was watching another clip. I think it was on Get Up. And they were like, oh, the Dallas Cowboys, got rolled by the Lions, and the Cowboys used to be the Lions. And it's like, no. What the Lions are doing right here is nowhere near on the levels of anything that the Dallas Cowboys have done with Dak Prescott, at least that year. I'm not talking about too far past. I'm not talking about like Trey Aikman and any of this type of stuff. I don't care about that. But in terms of the modern era with Dak Prescott, they've never been what the Detroit Lions are right now. Ever. That's an insult to the Detroit Lions. An absolute insult. They are just, God, watching the Detroit Lions has just been insane. I mean, again, this game you watch and you can't help but not feel like you're just like you're sitting on the couch and you're just like, I just want to pick up my couch and throw it through the window. Like, you feel like you just want to run through the wall. Just wild. I mean, there's just nothing negative to say, really. I mean, that game was just wild. If you ever need to like pump yourself up, if you're ever feeling down, you ever need to be inspired or motivated for your own work, or for your own workout or work or job or anything, I don't know, you need courage to, like, I don't know, ask someone out on a date. It's like, you watch this game, right? You watch this game and you're like, all right, I can do anything. I'm ready. I'm fearless. Time to make a change in my life. Let's go. I mean, like, this game is just like a motivational video in itself. It was just so dominant. Sometimes games like this, you can look at a score like this, and not all lopsided scores like this are as dominant. right? It's not always the same thing. Sometimes the score looks like this, and it's like, yeah, well, there was a blocked field goal, which then was taken back for 6 points. A really terrible interception. Oh my God, they fumbled on their own 5, which then was scooped up for a score, right? Like, you can point to sometimes how scores kind of just get out of control, or it's like a one-dimensional thing where it's like, oh, they could not stop the run game or whatever, and then there was a bunch of 3-and-outs. That's not what this was. This was, we are dominant in every aspect of this game. We are going to own you every position, every snap, every drive, every second, every minute, every quarter. And that's what it was. That's why this was, I don't remember a more dominant top to bottom win than this one. I really can't. I'm trying to think like quickly in my mind, and I really can't think of anything. Because again, so many of these other lopsided scores can be explained by a few wonky things that happened here and there. This was just insane. Absolutely utter insane. And again, you knew the Lions won it because they were trying to get lineman touchdowns and stuff like that. Like, you know that they wanted to embarrass the Cowboys. And I respect it, man. I respect it. It was big time. Absolute big time. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What did you guys all think about the Detroit Lions just putting a hurting on the Dallas Cowboys? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.